Here, on the coast of Normandy, the battle between freedom and tyranny would be joined. Here, on that June morning, the testing was at hand.
An emotional day in Normandy, France.
Kind of sad. It brought back some pretty horrible memories.
80 years ago, Allied forces stormed this beach and helped defeat Nazi Germany during World War II.
The plane was too low, it was too fast, the fire coming up was so thick, it was like you could walk on it.
I always have said that it was the power of my mother's prayers that saved me that day.
World leaders echoing one message here: remember them.
I'm not a hero, I just did my job. The real heroes are laying here on the cemeteries. These are our heroes, and we should never forget them.
Well, good evening to you and welcome to ABC4 News at 10. I'm Brian McElhatton. Thanks so much for choosing us here. It's 6 o'clock in the morning here in Normandy, France, in the village of Saint-Laurent-sur-Mer. The sun is just coming up and it's revealing the beautiful buildings here and the very old streets. You know, this village and the others like it here in Normandy look very much like they did 80 years ago, when those troops came ashore and started moving through these villages, liberating them one by one. And those veterans are the stars of the show here in France right now. Several big ceremonies honoring them, the sacrifices they made. We went to the American ceremony at the Normandy American Cemetery, where they brought the veterans out on stage and honored them in a very big way. I want to show you that right now. On this day at the Normandy American Cemetery, the quiet and the stillness were broken. As thousands gathered to commemorate 80 years since the D-Day invasion. As the gentle music played, the final details were sealed. People filed in. Politicians like John Kerry and Ted Cruz, the French and American presidents, the military, Marines with gleaming medals, generals with star-studded shoulders, even Hollywood stars, Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. But the real stars of this show were the D-Day veterans, taking center stage to thundering applause and heaps of praise.
It's the highest honor to be able to salute you here in Normandy.
And soaking it all in from the sidelines.
For me, this was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Two high schoolers, about the same age as many of the D-Day troops in 1944, and they were in awe.
I feel like they've done so much more than me in life, and I have so much more to go, and it keeps me going sometimes, like what they've done.
And what they did 80 years ago was a turning point in history. 160,000 troops hit the beaches and parachuted into Normandy for the daring invasion June 6, 1944. The fighting was brutal. These young men grew up fast here as bullets flew by and sheer grit pushed them forward. And some of the youngest on that day are the oldest people here now.
Nous vous faisons chevalier de la Légion d'honneur.
Like Harold Terrans, 100 years old. French President Emmanuel Macron pinned him and 10 of Harold's comrades with France's highest award, the Legion of Honor.
It was one of the highlights of my life.
Mobbed like a celebrity.
Thank you for your service.
Okay. Yeah.
When people thank you like that, how do you feel?
I feel very honored and flattered and lucky, okay? I am blessed.
Blessed to be here and with his beaming daughter.
I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud. I've heard these stories since I'm a little girl, and to see him receive an honor is just a dream come true.
And as for those high schoolers who are watching all of this with wide eyes, what would they say to the men like Harold?
You guys did something I could never do. It's so inspiring that you guys took the risk to maybe even sacrifice your life for freedom and prosperity of the world.
And today, in Normandy, the world thanked them. So many remarkable moments during that ceremony. It really was incredible to be there. And those veterans enjoyed being there too, talking with everyone and reflecting on what happened here 80 years ago. That wasn't the only remarkable moment, though. There were others. In fact, there were other ceremonies. The one you just saw was the American ceremony, but right afterwards was the international ceremony in this very village. And there was a remarkable moment that happened then. You see, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took the stage. He introduced Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And Zelensky met one of the veterans on the stage, Melvin Hurwitz. He called him a hero, and Hurwitz broke down in tears. Take a look.
The Ukrainian Prime Minister is busy fighting right now.
Oh, you're the savior of the people. Here's my eyes. Not a picture.
Wow, not a lot of dry eyes after that, that's for sure. A lot of reflecting, a lot of honoring happening here in France, where people are reflecting on those veterans, the courage and the sacrifices they made here. Still more to come this week as our live coverage from Normandy, France continues. Tomorrow we'll introduce you to some members of the Utah National Guard who are here. And I'll tell you what, they are being treated like celebrities. All you have to do is walk around in an American uniform and people come up to you and start asking you questions and shaking your hands. We'll show you how some of Utah's finest are dealing with that tomorrow right here on ABC4 News at 10. Sarah, we'll send it back to you from Normandy, France.
All right, Brian, what a special experience it is to be there and for us to be able to see it. So we thank you very much for your coverage this evening. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night on Friday.